And Mike.
Hoi, hoi.
Amen. All right, so we are on to Inglourious.
Yes. Nothing in between as far as nonsense or side distractions.
Yeah, hang on a second. I gotta.
Yep. Okay, I'm good to go. It'd be funny. When I get this one prepped, I'll send it to the New Beverly people, and then we'll see if they show Quentin.
Pretty cool. So we got the original from 1978. Stars Bo Svensson, Peter Hooton, Fred Williamson, Michael Constantine. That's all. Ian Bannon. Get Italian production.
We've screened it here a few times. I don't know if I've got it on Quick Draw here. It might be at the office, but it's a good movie.
Enzo Calisteri, he was actually cast as himself in the actual film itself. I think he did a Gallo.
Yeah, he's got the same line, and he shows up for one or two shots in.
He's got a he directed Escape from the Bronx.
Oh no, he's a director. He's a big time. He's big time. Yeah. We could do a he's a big fan of our friend George Eastman.
He sure is, yeah. Go to a few dollars more, as it seems. But again, whenever something is popular, he kind of jumps on the bandwagon and kind of rips it off, right?
Well, he does the Italian version.
The Italian version, yeah. Sorry, yeah, no, awesome. So, Inglourious Basterds, again, 10 years in the making. He started working on it when Uma was pregnant. And again, something he thought at one point that he wasn't going to be able to do it because he thought he had written an uncastable part for Christopher Waltz character, and thought he couldn't do it. And then Waltz auditioned, and him and Lawrence Bender just got, that's the guy. Other than that, he thought he was going to have to scrap the whole project and not get this thing made. Again, what we have here is another kind of, it's not really a heist. It's come across between a heist and a revenge movie, really. So basically, we have a squad of Jewish soldiers who are out to kind of fight the Nazis, which is an awesome what do you call it? An awesome trope. Right. So again, I remember being really, really excited at this one. Again, at the time, Christopher Waltz, I'd seen him I'd never seen any of his movies. I knew that he was a German actor. Again, Brad Pitt being cast in this. This is the first time that Brad Pitt worked for the Weinsteins. And the only reason he did this was so he could work with Quentin. He really wanted to. But I found this out is that he had dated Gwyneth Paltrow. And of course, Gwyneth Paltrow had been sexually harassed by Harvey Weinstein. So, and Brad Pitt had come in there and threatened to friggin' beat him up real good. And so he had nothing to do with them until this film. And of course, he kind of, in order to work with Quentin, I'll make this work. So
concessions.
The other cool thing, interesting part about this one is that for a Hollywood movie, only 30% of this film is in English. The rest of it is in French and German, a little bit of Italian, which is something that you don't really see very often. And I remember when I had the video store and this was popular, I had people saying that they don't want to read subtitles and they'd return it. And they'd say, no, this is a German movie. I'm like, it's actually not, but it's actually a Hollywood production. But yeah, people really weren't big on the subtitles. But the funniest part is, since Pulp Fiction, this was the biggest film that he had done. This is the highest grossing film that he had done since Pulp Fiction. So we're talking 94, 93, 94.
Yep. 15 years. Yep.
Yeah. But again, what a powerful film. So again, you've got a cast of largely not as big known characters as he has in the other ones. So, I mean, other than Brad Pitt, you have Eli Roth, who at the time nobody really knew who he was. You had Till Swillinger, who actually the funny part about him is that he originally turned it down, my understanding, because he said, I'm not playing a Nazi, not playing a Nazi, not playing a Nazi. but met with Quentin, and of course the way that they cut it around, he's a Jewish. He's a Jewish German, so of course he said, "All right, I'll do this." But his big thing was never to do a Nazi movie, never to be in a Nazi movie, because of course he played the stereotypical German, right? Yep. Kretschmann, I think, is the same deal. Thomas Kretschmann. But you have some really cool cameos in this one. The weirdest one, I think everyone in the picture's got Mike Myers is in this. And again, when you listen to it, and I didn't pick this up the first time, but somebody said how it took him right out of the film. You listen to it, you don't look at it. You listen, he goes, man, he's fighting Austin Powers something fierce in order to get this across, because it's more of it's a subdued Austin Powers essentially, which for some people is really, really cool. But again, it's such a weird role to cast. Why not cast a Brit in that role? I mean, it's not an exciting role. It's not a big role. But again, a lot of people, he got a love-hate on this one. So I thought it was cool that Mike Myers was in the film, but at the same time, there was a lot of people that's kind of like, what the hell, the biggest miscasting ever. So,
well, I think it's almost one of those ones he wrote it for him, knowing that he'd be playing him, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Big fan. And again, you've got little scenes there with, Quentin. You got some cameos in there. Quentin, Harvey Keitel plays a Nazi officer, uncredited. Samuel Jackson, the same thing. He's not a Nazi officer. He's in there somewhere.
Bo Svensson's in it.
Bo Svensson plays. Yeah, he's in it. Has a teeny tiny role. Again, all these are uncredited.
Well, he's in the Eli Roth directed Film in the Film, right? Where
the coolest part about about Tarantino movies is that you can't just go. I mean, if you're looking through the credits, you're never going to find it. You have to go find uncredited, because these guys aren't credited.
You got to know.
You have to go through and know who they are. Or you go to IMDb and check them out, because IMDb is actually really good with pointing these things out too. So I love doing that. But basically, hunting Nazis, and the fact, actually tonight I learned that because I never picked this up in the movies, that Eli Roth's bat, the bear Jew, his name is Anne Frank. So I totally missed that in the movie. I learned that. I was reading that tonight. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yep. So again. Christopher Waltz won an Academy Award for this, nominated and won an Academy Award. Again, his performance alone
it sells it.
Is worth watching this movie. But the cinematography and the shot setups for some of these scenes, like the first scene, and again, don't want to give too much away, but the first scene where she's running away, and you can see you're looking at the through kind of the barn door, or you're kind of looking through a hole in there and watching her run. I mean, it kind of reminds you of The Sound of Music, right? It's pretty immense. So I am a huge fan of this film, and again, repeat viewings show up and up and up. Well, you just keep picking up new stuff every time.
Well, I mean, you can see it. He's getting more and more theatrical. That first opening scene's got to be 20 minutes, right?
And again,
the whole script, but that whole scene is all about language, right?
But you're entranced, like you're absolutely entranced. I mean, what better way to introduce this character than through that scene?
Well, and the language is literally a plot point where they switch from German to English, so everybody in the theater can know. But everybody who's hidden in the house doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. And it's such a triple caveat, right? Where it's just like, oh, great, right? It's man on a mission. You know the third act's going to be, or the fourth act, depending on how you break it down.
The interesting part I found with
G.I. Joe, but otherwise, no, it's fantastic. And everyone throws him into the, we're rewriting history. Well, this is the only really one where he really, really does it. I mean, Django, he doesn't. Slavery was real. White people owned them. And then the last one, he does it at the end, but,
you find as he goes on that his material gets edgier and edgier. So we've gone from Inglourious Basterds. So you're talking about the Nazis, which everybody hates. And of course, you're not imposing them in a good light. Here you have the heroes who are coming to save the day. So rather than the Nazis pursuing the Jews, these Jews are pursuing the Nazis and going to wipe the whole battalion up. And so that's a pretty cool premise right in itself. And again, there are some moments that I was like waiting. I'm like, what's the distasteful stuff? Like, what's the really distasteful, anti-Haiti, whatever? And for the most part, it's not there. But then you get into Django and even Hateful Eight to a little bit. You're getting a little edgier with some of the material. Like the only way that you can get away with it is to call it history or saying that we're reworking history. So this
well,
was
no, there's still genre, but he is going back where he can get away with some more shit, right? I mean, it's so stupid because, I mean, just think of it this way, right? If you go, hey man, we're doing I'm making this up as we're talking here because it's live, or well, we're taping it live. Man, I'm doing just don't want to take it off Tarantino land for a second. I'm doing a soccer movie. I'll be damned if I'm not going to enter gladiators into this motherfucker. And you go, well, shit. Okay. Like you mean actual, they're just cutting heads off and they're doing things. Okay. But there's no lightning and there's no Highlander shit. Yeah. But it's still going to be reminiscent of Highlander. Right. Whereas I think at this point where he's going, okay, well, I'm really into the genre here. He dumped the load and he dumped it, everything he's got almost at the time into Kill Bill. He did his little Halloween picture and you go, okay, I got to do a war movie. And I don't think the content about the Jews or anything, Steven Spielberg and at that point, Malick, I mean, again, anybody he's going to compare himself to is done, okay, I got to do a war picture or two. Kubrick, for God's sakes. I mean, I think of this as a little bit of Paths of Glory, all kinds of Full Metal Jacket.
But again, this is more of a tongue-in-cheek kind of a war movie where it's, I mean, you put it along the Dirty Dozen or Kelly's Heroes or something like that. Right?
Other than it's the guy doing it that makes it a thing.
Yeah, but I mean, what kind of in every war movie or every kind of movie, it's always been the Nazi getting away from the Nazis or kind of, here's people that are out to pursue. I mean, other than modern day Nazi hunters, Simon Wiesenthal and all that kind of good stuff, we've got this guy this group that's gone rogue and saying, we're coming after these guys. So I thought that was pretty neat. And of course,
they were given a real mission. They were given, as they were given a real mission by Michael Myers, and that's the thing. But that's just the caveat. It's just he's going around right at that point. He's jumping around, right? He could have been doing a roller skating movie next, right? Some of the
scenes, some of the scene setups in here are absolutely magnificent. Like one of my favorite scenes is in the theater when they got it all blocked off, and of course the fire and the movie still showing the fire in the background, and you're just like, oh my god, that's like a dream shot. Like that is such an awesome trope. Just some of the camera setups, so the cinematography, of course, when he has in these more open landscapes. So of course we've gone from one room, a lot of this one room films, to this where it has several different locations, a lot of outdoor locations. Django is the same thing.
Well, it's still unless he's going, okay, we're going into like a field or something, because he does that, even early on in Jackie Brown, when it's parking lots and stuff. But like it's still okay, theater, but everything that comes with a theater. There's 9 or 10, the foyer, behind the screen in front.
I'm thinking more of the very beginning, the outdoor shots leading up to the guys hide and Frank thing. So
it's like somebody's just saying, hey, you need some more establishing shit. Okay.
Well, again, we're going to get you more into scores, and we're going to get you into more into cinematography.
Also,
here. So we're going to get some sweeping pan shots of cinema of the great outdoors, and used a lot of this stuff. And again, that's more used in Django.
It's true.
When you get one of the scenes in there in Django,
because it's not like he couldn't have done it with like literally Reservoir or Pulp, where there's just sweeping shots of L.A.
Yeah, well, pretty much. I mean,
Santa Barbara, wherever the fuck.
He's always changing it. He's always changing it up, right? Like you can't turn around and pigeonhole him into a certain style of film. You can. I mean, the violence is something that plays through in all of his films. And
it's everything comes with horse shit where he's pushing it, where he's going.
Well, I mean, excitement, right? I mean, it bums in seats, right? But Django or Inglourious Basterds was a fun watch. I watched that one several times. Diane Kruger, we've got who's the other chick in that?
All kinds of blondes. Melanie Laurent
yes.
Yeah, is the other one. And this is where he's got it early on too. For God's sakes, right before right before shithead cuts the ear off, there's some food going on, and then he's got it with Big Kahuna Burgers with literally Sam Jackson taking a bite of Frank Wally's. But then in this one, when he's jerking around with a pastry, and when he's
well, in the
and you can just, and then it really culminates in the craft dinner with Brad and the dog. 10 years.
I'm thinking more of that scene. I mean, for awkwardness, where they're in the German bar, and
great set piece,
out,
right?
right?
Yeah. And it's just, okay, I'm gonna write a play. Like he says he wrote, you can see setting up the lines where he's just gonna go, well, I'm gonna write 5 scenes that are so long. He's gonna have a Hans Landa, he's gonna have a bar, and here's his play. His first play is gonna be something, fantastic like that, where it's gonna be holy shit, right? And somebody go, hey, whoa, you don't need 5 acts. 3 of yours is good.
Yeah, we're gonna cut the Cloud City part.
Yeah. No, but it'll be, it'll be just, okay, I need 3, 4, 5 things that you just, okay, move the characters around, right? And
anyway, what a great way to take a lot of actors that are typecast. And I keep thinking of Till Schillinger, and going against the grain and just saying, we're going to make an anti-movie of that. And again,
well, a lot of fun. I mean, this is one of those ones where I remember you and I talking about this one, I think maybe before Kill Bill came out, but then if not right after, going, man, the next one he's doing is this, and it was never, right? And the cast was so different, right? Like there was Adler involved, and there was the Till role. I think he was right. You clearly think, oh my God, that's going to be Arnold, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna, that kind of stuff back in the,
Well, and you can't blame. I mean, you can't blame German actors that said, "Listen, I don't want to play a Nazi, man. That's what I get played." That's
it makes sense, right?
I'm a Native American, and you're gonna make me play, the Indian bad guy. Like, I don't want to do that.
You can shove a John Wayne. Oh.
Hey, hoo ha! Yeah. But moving on to Django. Django was another one that was in the work. Was another one that was in the works.
Well, and then the last note about Inglourious. He working on the script long time, but then because of long shoot with Kill Bill, and then bit of a long shoot for other reasons with Death Proof, I think he shot, which when you really think about it is insane. He shot Inglourious in 6 weeks, and you go, holy shit, right? That's fast, right?
Tight shoot.
But again, right, a lot of contained pieces, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's controlling and putting all the pieces together. But again, some of those scenes where you've got a big set and you've got a lot of people playing the roles, those are a little more difficult. So
yeah, but it's a play. It's not, oh my God, we got to.
But again, we don't have. I mean, this is one of the war films where you don't have any real war footage, right? You don't have tanks coming in and dive bombers and Spitfires, whatever, coming in front of this. Guys in trenches firing. This is more of the heist film on the battlefield. It's almost like it's
literally more war in Escape 3000.
Yeah, this is literally
like they at least paid for jets in that one, right?
They could have taken Kelly's Heroes and basically said that we're going to put this, we're going to have this brigade of Jewish soldiers that are going to go after it. Okay, cool, that'll work. Instead of gold, instead of Clint Eastwood's gold, they're going to go after this. So,
and again, he's really tipping his hand. Some of the stuff, if because you're watching it all the way through, like all his shit. I mean, literally when the opening thing starts and it's that's the title of the movie. That's his handwriting. I mean, he's literally taking. Okay, we're just going to who's the artist?
Oh,
me.
Samuel Jackson's doing the narrating, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh yeah, and it's also misspelled. Yeah, both words. But it's just it's his handwriting. You go, Jesus, that's how he's doing it now. He's just taking the first page of his handwritten shit, and that's the fucking.
Yeah.
That's your literal first thing you see as the movie screens, right? And fast shoot, fast turnaround, right? Like he shoots that in November, December, and then the next summer it's out.
Yeah. Quick process. So again,
Hollywood,
all the stuff to push that stuff through. I mean, you have to be somebody, right? I mean, if that had been him 15 years earlier, that never would have happened. Right? Who the hell are you? Yeah.
What's that? Well,
I said, who the hell are you? Is it Quentin Tarantino? I said, now that we know your stuff, we're giving you $100 million budgets.
Well, he would have been taking that long because he had no money, right?
Yeah. Well, the funny part is that the next one, Django, did have $100 million budget. Which of course it strikes you as the film. So why would this one of all? I mean, when you go back in time, when you have to go back, it's expensive nonetheless because now you have to have everything authentic, right? Or else movie nerds like us crucify you for saying, well, that wasn't real, they didn't have that, so on and so forth. And they did get hit on one, is that this is set in 1858 and dynamite wasn't invented until 20 years after that.
Nonsense, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're paying for the top 3 bill for sure.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
that point.
Here you are. You got DiCaprio playing a bad guy for the first time in since Man in the Iron Mask.
Yep.
Which is, you're going 20 years.
But he's third bill. He's third bill too.
Yeah.
Right? So, and he's probably the most expensive. Right.
Oh, probably, yeah. But definitely the most expensive on that one. But then again, you got Jamie Foxx, who actually, the role was originally offered to Will Smith.
Yep.
And Will Smith turned it down to, what the hell was he doing at that time?
Well, he didn't like the story. He's come out and say he didn't like the story. How he?
Yeah, it was a good film, but basically that's not. I mean, depending on what you hear, is that it wasn't the reason. I mean, it was all business, right? He might say that he didn't like it. That's cool. That's fine. Jamie Foxx did it. Cuba Gooding Jr. begged him, like, this was the most if you talk to Cuba Gooding Jr., this is the most disappointment of his life. Like, he wanted that, and Quentin wouldn't even consider him for it. But he had there was a whole other a schmack of actors that were
C. Thomas Howell.
C. Thomas Howell, yeah, from Soul Man, going to reprise his Soul Man character.
Well, you could have played a slaver.
No, we're going to cast James Earl Jones. We're going to cast 90-year-old James Earl Jones. Put him out there. But Christopher Waltz, again, he had to be persuaded into this one.
Yeah,
because he'd already done the last one. He didn't know if he was going to do it again. Cool part is to say this one takes the most liberties with history, and actually it doesn't. I was reading an article today about how German. If you're going to take the course, German settlers, would go out and a lot of German settlers in the area, and of course it makes a lot of sense. Christopher Waltz's one thing that he said that was he would do the film provided there was no wickedness. This character could not be shown in a negative light, could not be do anything evil or vile or disheartened. It said the purity. He wanted the purity of it. So there's also some really cool stuff that if you watch this film, which there's like 10 hours of footage. So this easily could have been a Netflix miniseries. And this is the story that when I was at HorrorCon and Tom Savini's there, and I'm talking to Tom Savini, and of course, if you go and you scroll back, you find that his credit, he's the handler, the dog handler. And he's like, yeah, all that. And he hadn't seen the film yet. And he goes, what? He goes, yeah, you made it into one scene. You made it into one shot. And unless somebody's looking for you, they'd never know. But he gets credited, like he was credited and he was paid for all of his work. There was a couple, Michael J. White, I believe.
Hollywood.
Yeah. Big long scene. They cut that. Amazing. Well, yeah, Hollywood for you. But when you film 10 hours worth of stuff, like, to me, that's the director's cut that I'd love to see, or I'd love to see. Is it okay? What all did you cut? Like, what storylines did you cut out? Like, Jonah Hill.
They had casting issues. Like Billy Crash was supposed to be Kevin Costner for a while, and then there was who was the other one? It was good too. I think it might have been Kurt Russell, right? You go, oh my God, he had both wives, but and they had to pass, and then Billy Crash became a combination of a couple characters.
Yeah, and again, this is the whole
I would imagine Billy Crash, and then the guy that
I was going to put in another film, but I'm going to put him in this film. Is here Jonah Hill's character? Of course, he's got that brilliant scene. How do you handle an uncomfortable scene like KKK Stampede? You turn it comical, which it was. I mean, and of course, Jonah Hill's only in it, but there was a whole story about him being Kerry Washington's, buying her up and as going to be his wife, paying her as basically a concubine or whatever. Because all that stuff left on the floor, again, would have made a really interesting dynamic. But that scene, that's got to be, of all the Quentin Tarantino stuff, that's got to be the funniest scene in any of his films. All out. I mean, the horses could see stupid. And my wife was up all goddamn night making these hoods. Yep. I absolutely love that scene.
Next time, you and yours.
Yeah, the fight scene that they had where DiCaprio's watching the two guys fight.
Franco.
Yeah, was way more brutal apparently than it actually was. He was worried about scaring people off. So again, I thought that was awful, but it was a lot more violent
It is brutal.
The original cut, but again, you had to edit somewhere. And if you've got 10 hours worth of film and you got to get it down to a lean under 3 hours, you'd be cutting some major storylines.
Well, the sound sells that at the end there when Franco's just, oh my God.
Well, see, and the cool part is that you can turn around and with $100 million, you can film big storylines and then cut them. So not have to worry about it. Say, but again,
it's a yin to the yang of the short filming of the last one, right?
Exactly. So basically, the story of this one is that Django, again, inspired by Franco Nero's 60s Western spaghetti westerns. That went on. Of course, George Eastman was in a couple of them, and I think they made umpteen of them. Only so many of them. Only a few of them had Franco Nero in them.
There's probably 8 or 9 that you'd call canon if you're
watching them. And they're close. I mean, even if they don't have Django's name in them, in the title, you kind of get the idea that.
Well, they're all Italian dust-ups of
pretty much.
Old John Wayners or some of the Clint Eastwood ones, because at that he had graduated away from fucking.
Well, then you get those guys, your Edward Purdom, who's a British actor, and of course he gets put into these as well. So again, Ian Bannon's another guy that shows up in everything that's Italian, even though he's British.
There's people all over this though. Don Johnson's in this, my lord.
Don Johnson's Big Daddy, of course. You've got the amount of people that are in the cast that were cut or uncredited is massive. Like I think there's on IMDb, when I checked it, there's 231.
And this is
credits
once again, right? The sad ballad that is Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Why did this guy again get nominated?
Tim Roth again cut from the whole thing.
Yep.
But you've got Walter Goggins. He's awesome in this.
Yeah. Walt Goggins, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got. I mean, we've mentioned most of the primaries on there. We've got. Who the hell else is in there?
Well, it's great opening scene where the dentist rolls up and it's James Remar and then
James Remar, yeah.
Who's the other guy?
Dennis Christopher is in this.
Yes, yeah.
There's one that you don't see very often. I mean,
and then our friend Al.
Such inspired casting on that. So
and then there's a drive-by cameo with friend of Albert Pugh in there, Sword and the Sorcerer Talon.
And then we've got Lee Horsley in there. And of course, Snowy. So they put him in Hateful Eight. So many. When you go back, I'm trying to Don Johnson. I'm trying to go through some of the other ones.
Tom Wolpett's in it
Tom Wolpett has got a small role in it. But again, you really you have to keep your eye out for a lot of these guys. So again, when you first watch the film, you're never going to pick up on all this stuff. But if you can go through and sit there, Don Stroud, Russ Tamblyn, Amber Tamblin's dad, and Amber Tamblyn, Bruce Dern.
Amber Tamblin's in one shot.
MC Gainey, who I love. Who else is this? Zobel. Robert Carradine is the tracker. Ted Neely, which I thought was hilarious. He's the guy that played Jesus or played Judah, or he plays Jesus.
Yep. No, Ted Neely plays Jesus. He was in this.
Yeah, Ted Neely was from Jesus Christ Superstar. Michael Parks, of course, Tom Savini, Quentin Tarantino. Who else we have on here? I think that's the primaries. If you go back, you're going to find a few other. Rex Lynn is Tennessee Harry in it. I remember that. Of course, I always remember him from CSI. He was the cop, or he was the actual cop, not the CSIer.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, 231 credits on here, and again, they all say pretty much uncredited on there. But again, it's nice to see that they have them to put on here and give them a little bit of credit. So I know that Spike Lee's big on doing that too. I mean, the credits for a Spike Lee film are an hour long because everybody, whether you picked up a pop bottle off the curb or got him a sandwich, you're going to get a credit, right? And I think the same thing here. All the people that you had to work for him, and pay anyone, you have $100 million. Do that, and again, gamble paid off. I mean, the movie Deliverance Pays, again, it was an incredible movie. Even though, I mean, there was a lot of Black community leaders that didn't want anything to do with it, didn't want to hear about it. Spike Lee is actually one of the local ones that turned around and said, "I don't know, I haven't seen it. I don't really want to see it." fair enough. That's the great thing about films. And I used to have people, well, why did you bring that in? I said, because, or not just this, but any film. Why'd you bring that in? Because there's people that want to watch it. I'm a big, I'm big anti banning anything. Put it out there. Let the grown-ups decide if they want to see it. They can see, especially if it's artful, right? You can't tell what's in another person's heart when they're making a film. And I mean, with Quentin Tarantino, it's all inspiration, right? He doesn't have a mandate. He doesn't have a hidden agenda. This is entertainment for entertainment's sake. And again, he does make some good points, like with Inglourious Basterds. That could have been a dreadfully distasteful movie, and it wasn't. It was, dare I say, fun and a gun shoes on the other foot.
Well, it's always about, like, I mean, some people always think it's, just to keep it in this little box here, that always keep pushing it. It's going to be like here, oh my God, it's going to be like here, and then we're going to like give up, as opposed to, well, it could be just boringly slow, and it could be this too, or it could be off the walls.
Well, I think the best is this.
Everybody always thinks he's one of these, him and Scorsese for sure, are always like, oh my God, it's going to be so. And it's like, well, no, other than with Tarantino and the language.
There's only one Tarantino film.
It's a gunfight. What are you going to see? It's a gunfight, right?
There's only one Tarantino film that doesn't have the N-word in it, and that's Kill Bill 2. Every other one does. And again,
it's not the language, because it's just words, right?
It is words, but I mean, how easily people are offended.
Yeah,
you're a reporter. You know that better than anybody. But in this one, I think it was interesting. Leonardo DiCaprio was having a really hard time. He goes, because the N-words being all these racist stuff. And Samuel L. Jackson pulls him aside and go, motherfucker, this is Tuesday. This is, it is what it is, get your fill. Come on here. And again, Samuel L. Jackson's role in this is probably one of the best characters in the film. Like,
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Why he wasn't nominated is crazy, right? Just God, right? One of these ones, right? Again, this is actually the first movie I actually saw in Brooks of Tarantino's, right? And you think it would have been any of the last previous decade, but it was this one, right?
Yeah.
In the theaters, right? Keeping it in the theaters. He won again his second best screenplay award for this one, for sure.
Yeah. And again, just to beat
I didn't think it was that deserved. I didn't think he was going to win it that year. I honestly thought he was going to win it for Inglourious 3 years previous. But
and again, really, I mean, a simple story. Other than the little tweaks, we get a simple story, and there's not too many twists and turns and so on and so forth. But again, it's the casting, it's the dialogue, right?
Yeah, well, and like at this point, I mean, he's getting into auteur status where he's just like, look, I need one take from each of these people, and I know when I get it, and then I'm just moving on, right?
The Ed Wood thing.
Yeah. Well,
but if you're good,
he's at a different level.
That's right. Exactly. But again, in some points, I mean, it is a bit of a hard watch, especially you become numb to it towards the middle of it. When it first comes up, you're just kind of because when you watch the Django movies, none of the Django movies are about race, right?
Well, no, but there's some horse shit going on. Like it wouldn't matter. I mean, again, not to make it about race, but if you take the race out of it, there's some really bad shit. Like I can think of 2 or 3 where I think one of them for sure has got George Eastman, where they're just whipping the shit out of everything, right?
Oh yeah, I mean and
horses. And there's always a foppish guy, you know what I mean, who's France or something, and he's running around.
That's the whole thing. I mean, I was watching, we watched Silverado the other night there, watched it again after seeing it
like 800 times. Again. We're going to do 80s Westerns.
The Danny Glover character comes in there and they won't serve him in the bar and all that kind of good stuff. And there's the shoot. I'm like, all right. I said, I get this.
I used to be a theater audition piece for me.
Well, and that's the kind of thing where he said,
I like a drink.
Tarantino was looking at this and going, yeah, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna expand on it, right? We're gonna expand on it. Sean Cleese is brilliant in that, though. I don't like that word, but yeah.
But even the way he aims, just he's always doing that.
Exactly, he hasn't missed anything he's tried to hit. But yeah, so I digress.
Kerry Washington again. Not a digression, but we're 20 years into this guy's career. And every time he gets yelled at for being misogynist, with the exception of the first movie where he couldn't afford women or talk to them probably at the time. every single movie, if they're not the lead, they're literally the linchpin to the movie. Pulp, I mean, literally, not, she became the marketing, but
Well, the thing is,
she's literally the plot point that ties Vincent to Bruce Willis in a real way.
And that's what I love about Tarantino, right? Is that for the most part, there's exceptions that are.
No, Kill Bill is Kill Bill. And
it's all about, you get some misogynistic stuff in there just because it's part of the era, or it's part of what makes the thing fun.
He's pretty pro women. I mean,
but yeah, he's got strong
all
female
about
characters.
Women. Death Proof is the second half is all about women beating the shit out of.
Yeah, exactly. So we're getting into strong women. I mean, Neil Wallace is a strong woman, right?
Well, and Kerry Washington is the literal plot point of this movie. That's why Django's Unchained.
Exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. And again,
and then we're getting into where he's again, right? Where again the next one is again the key point is and lead actress is and plot point is a woman, right? So it's not
we're getting into
not ignoring them in any way, and he's not giving them great roles. He's giving them great roles. It's just there's like anything else, he's at such a high level where there's only 5 or 6 people that he's going to really consider.
And I don't think, I guess speaking as a man, is that I don't know. I mean, if you're thinking that way, if you're inspired by what you've seen in the past, what you see in the past dictates the tastes of that era, right? So of course, if that's what's inspired, that's what you're going to go with. But again,
but he's dude heavy for sure because he's right. But like if he's writing his top 5 characters and they're all the Justice League, he's always got a Wonder Woman in there. Right. It's not like it's just dick fest or he's always
it's like a slasher flick. There's always a woman and there's always a black guy. So
yeah.
So
but in this case, he literally elevates them to the either the plot point, the linchpin, or the lead actress is the carrier of the movie. Right.
Well, and again, he doesn't go by all the by the Hollywood thing is that who dies when and who has something valid to say and that, I mean, we can be disgusted by films. I think one of the most disgusting films that I saw with regards to women was it Batman Returns? Is that the one with Nicole Kidman? I think so.
No, that's the next one. Batman
Returns or Batman Forever?
Forever. The first Joel Schumacher one.
Yes, not the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger though. The other one.
Yeah, Batman Forever, because the one.
Yeah, it's got two
Batman and Robin. Yeah.
Yeah, not Batman and Robin, the other one. Yeah. But anyway, is that here's Nicole Kidman, incredible actress who's done so much. And again, what's your character? She likes bats, and they sexually turn her on, for all I could tell. And bland, vacuous dialogue.
Well, it's so crazy.
Everybody else has this. I mean, and nobody's offended by this yet. You put a woman like, we talk about Jennifer Jason Leigh in that. I mean, who's getting the boot stuff to her.
Yeah.
But again, she's awesome. She's such a strong character. And again, the fact that they're whumping the crap out of her because she won't shut up, right? Again, they're treating her just like they would treat any guy, right? They don't care whether she's a woman or not. They just
very well. Like you would get to the point where you're at it, and you probably the last film or the one before that, or actually when you think about it, going back, a lot of them had some other actress come along that was a bigger name at the time than him, that would have been the role, right? And all of a sudden, oh my God, it's Meryl Streep playing Vincent Vega, right?
Like, I mean, even go back to Bridget Fonda in in Jackie Brown.
Yep,
she's awesome. She's strong as hell. And again, I mean, her outcome is not great, but I mean, it's probably
at that point
he's the funniest part of the film.
At that point, he's able to pull De Niro in, so it's like, wow.
Yeah, but what else is he really? I mean, his character. What else is he going to do? He's not going to put up with it, right?
Yeah.
But again, it just becomes one has a gun, the other one doesn't.
Oh, for sure. And other than Django, last notes on that. If you see the original, it's a great movie. Most people, if you don't know Franco Nero, because we've said him a few times with Eastman, I mean, my first introduction with him has nothing to do with even ninja movies. It was just a movie that I rented on VHS and was into the ninja, and he's the guy.
Right? Yeah, I mean, Franco Nero has been in so many things. And of course, he's the guy at the bar in this one. He does the same thing. Sonny Chiba is in and again, he's the inspiration for the for all the Asian cinema
Kill
stuff,
Bills,
because
yeah.
the Street Fighter movies. And when you go back to there's another perfect example. I mean, really, I mean, Pam Grier playing Coffee, basically.
Yeah. Foxy Brown.
But so many different films. And the cool thing about Tarantino is that he gets the whole cast to watch movies. He says,
well, that's the research. Right?
Watch
I mean,
these three
I don't know if
movies.
you tried. Did you? I mean, we might cut this out if it doesn't go anywhere. But like, do you remember when I don't know we were doing rehearsals with Tumbleweed? I used to try that, and I could tell which ones had watched the goddamn thing.
Oh yeah,
just disheartening how many hadn't. Right? It's just like, get the fuck.
Well, it is. I mean, here's some of the inspiring parts. I mean, I'm trying to remember which one he just had them, and it had really nothing to do. I think it might actually have been Hateful Eight. Everybody watched The Thing. That was the film.
Oh, and if you can't figure it out,
yeah, watch The Thing. So here we go. Yeah. John Carpenter's Thing from '82.
No, but otherwise, do you want to jump into Hateful Eight then? I think
We'll do Hateful Eight again. I haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so
we'll jump into Hateful Eight. But like, I mean, we're getting almost catching up to real time now, right?
Yeah.
Not I mean like right now, but I mean backward. I mean, it's one thing when we're talking about Inglourious 20 years ago, but now we're talking about moving into Inglourious
2015, right?
Well, yeah, Movie 16 when it comes out here in North America. And I mean, we were doing Tumbleweed shit. I threw out 25 pages of script because I remember Django came out. I'm back in Brooks there, and we're jerking around with Tumbleweed, and we're jerking around with that first Playwright Festival, whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah. Shockstock, or are we talking?
No, the one where it was legit run your run act. So we did the one.
You mean Homegrown?
Homegrown, yeah, it was the very first Homegrown, and I said, okay, Tarantino.
Homegrown, grown spelled G-R-O-N.
And I remember so it might have been 2013 or 14, right? And I was like, there's no way Tarantino will do another it might have been 2012. No, it was 2013. There's no way Tarantino will do another Western in a row. So anything I do in that Western over, we're okay. We're safe because he ain't going back to that because I know where he's going. You know, he's going anywhere else, right?
Well, it's funny because it's the film that almost didn't happen.
No, for Homegrown, I had 25 pages of a thing for on a stagecoach, and then he goes, "Yeah, I'm doing a thing," and I just chucked it out, right? And I was just, oh my god, right?
Well, the cool part is that it's part stage. This one's he's working with the mystery trope now.
Well, a little bit like, I mean, I was rewriting Stagecoach, so was he, and then I just tossed
his was Stagecoach written by Agatha Christie,
and then his is Stagecoach going into Reservoir Dogs, and then
Reservoir Dogs, Agatha, because I mean. Again, it's kind of got
elements of the coffee. It was Mr. Orange.
Right? It's a slow burn.
Yeah. Well, who poisoned the coffee? Mr. Orange. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Right there.
Yep, he's a cop.
Yeah.
But
it's Mr. Blonde if it wasn't him, right?
It's funny because watch that, then I watched Bone Tomahawk shortly thereafter. I'm kind of like, oh my god! So this is much more of an exciting film than this is the same era of their.
Well, this is the cash in on. This is the. I realized Kurt Russell is growing a mustache. Cast him in another Western.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put him in there with Richard Jenkins.
Yeah.
But the other cool part is that there's crossover here between the Hateful Eight and Django. There's actually a few references.
Oh, there's all over. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I mean, this could be in the same universe, the Tarantino universe.
Well, originally he was starting it as it was going to be Django again, and then he had to take Django out of the 8 because everybody knows Django because they see him in another movie, right?
So, well, yeah, and you get some guys.
Sam Jackson.
You get Lee Horsley in this one. You get Walter Goggins again. You got Bruce Dern in this one again.
Well,
Michael
again, he's going down the road.
Ross
right?
in this one. Samuel Jackson, different character. Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah. It's 2 set pieces. This one, it's
and Kurt Russell. Yeah.
It's a stagecoach, and then it's the haberdasher.
Yeah. And sitting there. The only person when you watch the whole thing, and of course you get Michael Parks and his son. you go in there, and this one again is a slow burn. So a lot of people, I think, were disappointed with this one because the returns, box office returns, weren't that great on this one. Because
well, again, it's where he's getting into where he's turning from writer, director to filmmaker, where it's like, well, no, wait a minute, now I'm doing a 70mm thing.
Yeah, because this is
I got to get somebody to actually write a score, and you go, okay, right, and.
Marconi.
I don't mind it one bit. I think it's
well, the funniest part is Marconi said after Django, he said there's no way he'd ever work with Quentin Tarantino again, and then he got him back for this one
to actually write one.
Money talks, bullshit walks.
Yeah,
but no, this is the whodunit that keeps you guessing up until the end. There's some great segues, some great stories. People being whittled off, and again, it's 10 Little Indians. Kind of stuff, or Murder on the Nile. Agatha Christie, of course, you wanted. And again, slow burn. The fact that my old man made it through 3 hours without falling asleep is pretty much, even though he said he didn't like the film, it's still testament the film is good. That you can go off there. And the characters are interesting. I think that the best exchange in the whole thing is between Bruce Dern and Samuel L. Jackson telling how he dealt with his son. Yeah. I think is probably the best part, my favorite exchange in the film.
Well, I like, again, there's a couple where I can't because again, I can do the Walt Goggins bit on this, but I'll have to cut around it probably. But the again, some of the when he brings the call back, and this one, there's some really good bits where the Lincoln letter shows up every 3 or 4 20 minutes or so, right, where it's brought up, and then it's brought up again, and then by the time Walt Goggins, the nigger in the garage, like the whole thing, a letter from Lincoln, and it just, everybody in the audience already knows, right? It's a joke, but he's in on it, right? And it's pure, just okay. He knows, Tarantino, but he knows exactly what he's doing, as opposed to, okay, I'm going to bring this up at the 9th time here. The audience knows it so well, right?
Yeah.
Walt Goggins or whoever's playing, the dipshit sheriff doesn't know that, right? And it's just, again, it's a great build-up, right? It's just like he's just bringing it in, taking it away, right? And it's
the joke that the whole audience is on, but because it hasn't been.
Well, there's lots of them, but that's just another good one. Where again, the beat down of Dave, of what's her Domergue there, where
best performance in this one is definitely
the third time Kurt Russell's punching her. Well, everybody,
best performance of the whole film is definitely Jennifer Jason Leigh. She definitely is the one that stands above everything. This was I hadn't seen her in something in ages. And
again, at this point, it's starting to get meta, where not only is he bringing back actors that legitimately could have been young in Pulp Fiction. He worked with the other single white female 20 years previous. At this point, also bringing back people. He's bringing back people that were also seen in his movies. What in the hell is
Matt Houston?
And again, Lee Horsley, friend of Al.
Lee Horsley.
Yes, to the show, hopefully. Yes, the show, working on some music with him.
Exactly. But again, not a fun film, but
there's humor in it.
When you compare, Django's more of a fun film. So is Inglourious Basterds. This kind of more is along the Jackie Brown, a little higher Jackie Brown for being fun. Like, it's not debatable. It's a good movie. It's just, you have that sense that you have, like, things go at different speeds, right? And again, this is a slower burn. With Jackie Brown is that you've got it's a pot boiler. It's building steam, and you have to go along for the whole journey in order to get there. They're not doing big jumps of action here and there and so on and so forth to get you to this electrifying end, the standoff. It's a slow burn. Who's it going to be? Building the tension, kind of a
if you haven't
stagecoach.
So you haven't seen Once Upon a Time?
Nope.
Well, we'll see if I can find you a link, and then we'll send you the link. And then
it's on Netflix. I just haven't watched it yet.
Well, then for Christ's sakes, we could do a live one, because what the hell, right? And I don't mean it's live for the people, but at least you and
I think it's cool that Damian Lewis plays Steve McQueen, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep. No, but you and I can just go 3, 2, 1, and then we can live watch it for 2 hours and record this nonsense at the same time.
Yep, we could do that. I just don't know, like, recently when that's going to happen. So, because tomorrow,
Well,
Friday,
I mean, tomorrow it doesn't. It's not like we're doing this. I mean, we're like 6 weeks ahead, right?
yeah. So we got to.
Out
It'll
in an
have to
hour.
definitely have to be a weekend.
Oh yeah. But like the first one, like we're we're miles ahead, right? So we're good.
Yeah, cool. There's also definitely some other ones, like we just went to you're talking about getting newer stuff. So we just went and saw the new Spider-Man movie and freaking loved it. The one thing, how come Topher Grace wasn't in it?
Well, it's Venom.
Yeah.
Well, because I think it's
Tom Hardy, but Tom Hardy has the extra scene at the very, very end, right?
Yeah.
And I thought
there's some other there's nonsense in the Venom movie where you realize.
Well, I mean, but there's things that, I mean, if you're talking about the multiverse, you could have had Topher Grace have Venom there, and then Tom Hardy as another Venom. Did you see the extra scene at the very end of after the credits there with Tom Hardy sitting in the bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
that's why I think, well, everything works, which is why they had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and all of them all together, which I thought was awesome. And of course, all the bad guys to bring back Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina and all that. And again, I'm assuming that from the credits, I'm just surprised. I guess, Thomas Hayden Church hasn't been up to much, and I guess Ian Reifus,
he was in it, man. He was in it.
Yeah, I know he was, but you never see him. You just see at the very end, and you're never sure if it's CGI or if they just got his voice. Same with Ian Reifus, is that you're wondering, is the lizard, is that really him, or is they just took his voice and then CGI'd him at the last very still shot?
All I know is that's a Sinister Six.
It is. That's exactly as it watches it. Sinister Six, man. Here it is.
Well, if you haven't caught,
if you haven't read my,
for viewers out there, if you haven't read my review on DawsonCreekMirror.ca, I did it about 3 weeks before Spider-Man No Way Home came out, because I'm good like that, because we watched them advance here.
Yeah, too bad we couldn't get the Mary Jane MJ crossover.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff. I mean, I'm not only am I catching up, I'm catching up. I love watching people watch reaction videos now, right? Like where it's so, they're reacting.
I'm still on people getting the groin with the football videos. So
also,
yeah, those are still making.
Once upon a time, we won't get into that. We'll just leave it with his working title for it was called Magnum Opus.
Yeah. Again, when I originally heard this was supposed to be a Manson family movie. So I thought, okay, because he always said, I'm going to make my horror movie. And I thought, okay, well, this is it. This is the summer of 68 or whatever it is, 69. And we're going to do the Manson family thing. And again, it changed a lot from what I originally was told or heard about it. And again, the end product there, you've got quite a cast. So you got from Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, who again, there's your budget. And you got Margaret Robbie playing Sharon Tate, and you've got a whole bunch of other great characters.
Got everybody playing everybody.
Bill Paxton was supposed to be in this one, and then of course he died, so they got Timothy Olyphant to play his part. It was written for him, or that was delegated towards him. And of course, Burt Reynolds was supposed to be in it, and of course he died. And then you've got Luke Perry, who actually was able to film some stuff before he died. And that was Leonardo's big thing, is that he was so excited that Luke Perry was in this film, because they're both on TV around the same time, right? Except Leonardo's a little kid. Again, that was his biggest thrill, that Luke Perry was in this film. Yeah. That's his big thrill, Luke Perry. I'm like,
no, but we'll live watch this one for sure, and then and we'll jump into his like unrealized things, or shit that he was.
And we'll talk about
stuff that people don't know he was involved in, like we were talking about Crimson Tide on the rewrite, and
It's Pat,
right? So there's lots of those.
And we'll talk about his upcoming movie, Mr. Belvedere, the movie.
Well, no, he's getting it. Like, I mean, okay, like
that's fucking with you.
It's for the next one too, but we can do a take on this, because whatever. I mean, he's gonna do a smaller one as his last one. Again, unless he's gonna shoehorn in like a Kill Bill 3, or if all of a sudden
I just don't buy the swan song stuff.
No. I know where he's going.
Thing.
It's an opportunity, and I'll tell you again, people out there, because I'm pointing right at the thing. For people that are smart,
We're not
like
pretentious at all.
like if he gets pitched to a Bond or a Star Trek or something, like, okay, that's a different thing, and he won't count that as his thing because he'll go, well, yeah, maybe I directed over George Comatose's shoulder, but I'm still Stallone. I'm not the guy that directed it. It was this guy. Same with Kurt Russell and Tombstone with the same director, Comatose. Sorry. But I can see him doing a smaller movie, and then no, he is going to be a man of letters where he's going to write. He's going to do theater adaptations of Reservoir Dogs and Hateful Eight.
And he's got to be. He's not an old man, so he's got to do something with the rest of
his
life.
No, but that's what I just said. That'll take 10 years because he'll direct those himself, but he's never directed a play, so that'll take 4 years instead of his requisite 2.5. That'll take.
He's been in theater. He was actually cast in.
But how it's going to go. I mean,
yeah.
And the pitch to him is what do you have?
The Ephraim Zimbalist character.
What was that play you wrote after you did all those Lancer episodes? We'd like to produce that. That's, Alias. No. He because when he's writing Once Upon a Time, he goes, well, I know what Leo's going to be, and then he wrote all the Lancer episodes out. Or not.
I'm just curious if he's going to go to something like
Bounty Law.
I'm just wondering if he's going to do something like a Netflix series or something like that, and just say that.
Again, he won't count. I unless he writes it and directs it.
And even if he does, it's not a film; it's a series, right?
No, but he can write and fucking produce and yell at the guy, the poor bastard that's actually the director, and he's going to do Quentin Tarantino's Rocket Robin Hood. That won't count as his top as his 10. He'll still.
No, I get the whole thing. Yeah, right? I get what you're talking about.
Yeah. It'll be the 10 Commandments or something, right?
Mr. Belvedere, the movie.
But it'll be
very old Bob Uecker,
right? Yeah, I can see it being something from the 90s. Like it'll be a crime, The
Munsters. Oh no, wait.
Smaller thing, right?
Yeah.
The Munsters. Jesus Christ. It's Rob Zombie.
I'm waiting to see that.
But no, he falls in the pantheon of guys who never really miss, and he has he's got that total control, not because he's a writer director, because the studio just says do what you want and we'll take your final cut.
Exactly. He said Quentin Tarantino, I can't do anything wrong. So
yeah. And as we're talking now in 2022, there's how many people that can say that, right? There's him, and there's at that level 4 or 5 other dudes that are in his era, Nolan and Fincher and then Ridley Scott, and then you're running out of names.
Yeah, your wheelhouse is getting kind of tight. Even with those guys, they've all had flops, whereas Tarantino really.
Well, yeah, just Ridley Scott. It doesn't matter with him, and then the other ones, it's just like, well, it's the same thing. They just make so much on the ones that don't flop. It don't matter, right?
Yeah. I mean, overall, they're grading they're plus minus, right?
Yeah, it's just
unless you've done something disastrous that Ishtar or The Adventures of Pluto Nash, you should be safe.
Well, and again, right, and then we referenced them maybe more in part 1 or part 2.A, where
2.A.
Well, we did that earlier a bit today. Where
2.1A.
Yeah, where Kubrick and Malick, where that's why I know that's why he's limiting himself, where he's like, well, no, the guys that are considered the best never fucking dropped fucking 20 movies. They did 10 to 15, and then they called it either they died or they just went
but they left the window open. Unless they died, they left the window open. They never stated that this is it, like this is all I'm doing.
Whereas he just knows where he is at least stating the bit where he goes, well, I know what film history is, and I know all the directors.
It's just creating.
I
would say if then after 10, they said, well, we're never going to hear from Tarantino again as your average layman, and they're disappointed, like, nah.
No, and then you and I will go to his first fucking play, and we'll film it, and then we'll make the next one, and then he'll sue us, and we'll and then awesome. We get more than 21 people that are watching.
There you go. Well, Shockfest 2.
Yeah.
Shockstock.
No. Oh, no.
Buckstock.
The Shiza Kaiser.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but again, right? This is a high-end deep dive, right? But like there's about 12 or 13 guys where I could do, as far as directors, where this is one of them where I don't need any research and we can just rip through it, right?
Fun on a bun.
Watching movies, right?
We're done enough of that.
Well, no, like we're just a time. It's not. It's if we're gonna pick 5 movies and we gotta watch 5 movies. That's 5 hours in addition to us talking about it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm trying to pick the cannon for to run past you for the next one. So
well, as opposed to like, well, I can do, well, the directors, like, I mean, Jesus Christ, right? But like we
could do a Malick, we could do a Hitchcock, we could do a De Palma, we could do a
Kubrick, we could do a
Michael Winner, my hero.
Fucking right.
Lily Thompson,
Michael Mann.
Yeah.
Could get away with a Woody Allen. And then any of the new, Kevin Smith, any of the any of the ones that we know, I could do.
Neil Blomkamp.
Richard Stanley.
Richard Stanley.
Get him on this one. I mean, that's good. Good Lord, what's he doing? Right. Well, I know.
I just saw his post today. He was talking about a friend of his.
He's got a film podcast. Yeah, he's doing the thing too. Yeah. And like Proyas, I think we're in our we might as well cash in with some of our people. Why not? Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
But no, I'll send our first episode there, part 1, because I think we'll split up Tarantino into at least 2, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, no, because we'll see. Because again, right.
I think what we do
with the X amount of hits, we might as well give it double, right? And
and
the first one I'll send the new Beverly people, because then all of a sudden we could have him or something going, hey, I'll show up or something.
Well, we could also do a 32-part series on the films of Eric Roberts, the man who loved to work.
That'd be tough for me. I'd have 32 hours to film.
We've probably seen 75% of them already. So anyway, I got to call her a night here.
No worries, man. No, this is a good one, because we'll run it. I'll cut it, but we'll run it in order. But then I'll cut it up like a Tarantino would. We'll put them in
different orders and all that kind of good stuff. Go in with some.
Well, no,
some non sequitur stuff.
Pulp Fiction order, right? Where literally the last thing is the bookend and all that. So.
Little green bag, play that over the top. I don't think George Baker's selection. Jerry Rafferty's dead anyway, so.
Get kicked off.
All right, man.
We'll see how it goes, man.
Yep. Talk to you soon.
Good one, Tarantino.
Ciao.
Later.